All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Yes and Podcast, the podcast about all things Arcadia theater. I'm your host, Zara Peters, and today I am joined by three incredibly talented individuals. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey everybody, I'm Riley Sheetz. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a senior BA theater arts major with a gender and sexuality studies minor.
Yeah.
Hi guys. I'm Isaiah Sassine. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a BFA acting major with a minor in media and communications. And
Nice.
Hi, I'm Sage. I use any pronouns. I'm a sophomore and I'm a BFA musical theater concentration major.
Nice. All right, so today we will be discussing Arcadia's upcoming performance of Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare, which is being directed by Damien Figueres and happening here on campus in the Little Theater October 3rd through the 6th. Tickets are pay what you can and available now. You guys are all in 12th Night, so do you guys want to tell me who you play?
Let's go right back down the line, hey everybody. I'm playing Viola, or Cesario.
I am playing Antonio.
And I am playing 4 characters. I'm playing Valentine, a sea captain, a police officer, and a priest.
Very nice. So this show is a little bit different from others that you might encounter or that we've done here. I mean, we've done Shakespeare shows before, but at least during like our time here, we haven't really done stuff. So I know Shakespeare can be very different, and approaching Shakespeare can be a very different like acting challenge. So how does acting Shakespeare differ from acting a different kind of straight play, and how has that been for you guys to tackle?
Let's go ahead and take that one. Acting Shakespeare has been both a challenge, but both a fun experience, I would say. Because the one thing about Shakespeare is that you're battling with that heightened language and trying to get the context of what William Shakespeare is trying to say and adapt it into your performance and how you want to convey it to the audience it's been like fun, like messing around with that a lot. And I would say I had a lot of help with our text speech coach, Jared. He's been
Jared
phenomenal.
Delaney.
Jared Delaney, love Jared Delaney. And we also taken his class. A couple of us taken his class last year. So that's been like a very big help to bring that into the rehearsal room.
Yeah, acting 3 heightened language.
Yeah, another thing that I would say to add on to that is a big difference can be stage direction. Like Shakespeare has basically no stage direction, and so deriving the action from the text itself. And the other thing that I really love, not to be a dork or whatever, that I love about Shakespeare in the language is that it is such a beautiful scaffolding that you can apply as an actor. You can apply so many different stories to it. Like the language supports so many different like feelings to it. I don't
different tellings.
Yeah, in a way. And I really enjoyed. Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed that. So that's been a difference. But I find the language to be a gift because there's just so much to work with.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not super familiar with Shakespeare in the past, but it's kind of like more of a puzzle in a way because there are certain words that mean fully different things back then than they do now. So like you have to actually research in order to even know what you're saying. So being able to like have that in there as like another level makes it so much more like compelling, I feel like, to try to dive in and do it.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about like the language? Like, does it feel easier? Because I know we talked about like, Shakespeare is very like rhythmic and like poetry. So is it drastically different for you memorization wise, for you when you're, saying it? Do you find yourself falling into a rhythm?
So it's melodic. So I do find myself like memorizing it was a bit easy just because I had like I know how it's supposed to go. Yeah. But on that, it's memorizing the words versus knowing what I'm saying are two very different things.
I can imagine.
So it was easy to memorize, but then I actually had to go in and be like, wait, what am I saying? Whereas in sort of contemporary shows, I usually memorize what I'm trying to say. Like I have the idea of what my character says next, but I don't know exactly how I'm gonna say it until I memorize it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the specificity with words is so important, of like where ands and buts and yes, like the so's and stuff go, and by adding one, it's off.
Yeah.
And that's been kicking me a little bit.
So like the word
Yeah.
has to be word perfect.
Pronunciation too.
I mean, you have to be
Yeah.
word perfect, period.
I mean, yeah,
but like
but
it shows more.
Mhm.
It does.
In Shakespeare, it just to your ear and to your mind, you create a pattern, because there is a pattern,
Mhm.
and to interrupt it, the audience goes, "What?" If you don't do it, because it is broken intentionally by Shakespeare, but like if you do it as the actor, it's like, wait, that's not. That feels
That's not
weird.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. To that point, like, I liked what you mentioned about like how memorizing everything was a lot easier because of how that rhythm-based language it is. But like applying the meaning and the context to the words is where you get tricked up, because that's one of the things that I was having trouble with during rehearsals, was like, I know what I'm saying, but I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it feels like you're just speaking words.
You're just speaking words, and then if it feels like you're just speaking words yourself, then to the audience it's just going to read that you're just speaking words, and they're going to get lost.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sorry, to add on to that too, is like some of it sounds so Dr. Seussish. Like,
It does.
and well, you get to a point where it's like, okay, there is a rhythmic pattern of how the words go together. I need to break that in order for it to make sense. Like the way that the lines work. I need like the beginning of my sentence is in the line before. Is in that structure, but I have to like connect them through. So in order for it to make sense logically in what I'm trying to say and to the audience and to the way we speak now, I have to recognize that and then add breaks and breaths where the commas are, and then actually like sew the meanings of the words together. Otherwise it sounds so like I'm rhyming in this, it just sounds interesting instead of I'm actually saying this because I'm saying it.
Yeah. How about you, Sage?
I mean, yeah, pretty much the same there. The words are definitely a bit hard for me, especially pronunciation. Because some things like have different ways you can say them and different like historical ways you could say them. So big one that I struggle with is like my character says Arian on the dolphin's back, and I keep wanting to say Orion.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm so much more used to that, but I can't do that because that is not the right name. But like I keep having to like catch myself, and it's in the middle of a monologue too there. So that one specifically stands out to me, and just making sure that I don't like put the wrong syllable stressed or like, because if you say the wrong syllable one time, the whole sentence falls apart.
Yeah, like I have to say condemned as opposed to like condemned. It's
So it's like
it instead of removed.
So it's like breaking a lot of the stuff that you already know, like the stuff that you already know how to say. Too. Yeah.
But that's the fun of it.
Yeah. So moving on, you guys, or I don't know what you guys, but Damien / whoever else has set the show in the 1920s.
Yeah.
Which is something we were mentioning a little bit before of like how Shakespeare can be applied to a bunch of different like scenarios and stuff like that. So how has that affected your like acting style, the way that you've approached this text? Like, is it different than how it would be if it was set more, I don't even know where, just like in Shakespearean time, like all that kind of stuff?
For sure.
I think. How do I answer this? So one thing that it changed a lot from me specifically, I would say, was how my character moves. Like, I feel like it changed a lot of like how we move around in the space a lot, and how we hold each other in like our especially like our backstories of our characters. So in the original play, and I guess still in this one, Antonio is supposed to be like this pirate. Like sailed the 7 seas, blah blah blah, right? But in this one, we've kind of adapted him to be like this kind of working class mobster kind of pirate, And so instead of, I don't even know where I was going with this. So instead of like having that like, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean vibe to it, or like that kind of walk to it, it's kind of more of like a 1920s civilian world we live in. So I'm holding myself like more upright. I'm holding myself with like a little slouch sometimes, a hand in the pocket, or anything like that, you know?
I'm so excited with the costume. Sorry. I'm thinking about the costume because I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, well, that's one of the biggest differences for me is so much of where I start with my physicality is often, and I also work in the costume shop, so that helps, and I'm often a part of that process. And just knowing what I'm wearing often informs to me how my character moves. Also, something to note, something to note is Twelfth Night is such a fun show because it's got a love triangle and it's big and messy, and it's got a character who disguises herself as a boy. As a eunuch specifically, to serve a count, and then falls in love with the count, and then is sent to woo Olivia, and Olivia falls in love with her disguised as a boy, so in love, which is me.
There's Olivia, a twin involved.
Yeah, and then there's actually, I think my twin is dead, but he comes back. It's like a whole thing.
He's actually alive.
He's actually alive, and he thinks that I'm dead, and I'm disguised. Viola is disguised as a boy named Cesario, and it's like a whole thing. It's so great.
And Antonio's like witches Sebastian.
Yeah, it's a tangle. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So with the 1920s part, something that we discussed often is like, okay, how do we translate count? What does that mean? And we were like, oh, so it's more like the oil baron and like rich family. Like it sort of placed it as like, oh, these are rich families. Like what does nobleness mean, and what is like the sort of status and class system, because that plays a really big role in this show. So, oh my gosh. Sorry. And that plays a really big role in this show. So that placed it in my mind of, oh, that's where also Viola comes from, like across the sea or a different town. Like if this is New York, Viola's maybe from like Chicago or something. Yeah. Like another big city somewhere, or like London or wherever. And that just put into my mind of like, oh, this is where we are also in like women's rights. As well, which is important as to why Viola dresses up as a boy and what like with the need to do that. Yeah, that's the big things I thought. It was really helpful when we were doing table work, really.
For me, because I play so many different characters, they don't really get as much time to like develop in a way. So I'm like flipping back and forth between like 4 separate 1920s characters. Yeah. So like for Valentine, I'm a servant and I'm just kind of there and like trying to not get fired. For the captain, you know, I save Viola and then I'm just, you know, there. So I feel like I personally believe that like I was like a fisherman type person, like one of those people that owns like a fishing boat that like does commercial fishing. Like I feel like that's what the captain is. So like there's a very big difference there. And then I play a priest. So like knowing what the priests do in the time and acting like a cop in the 1920s. Like so many different things that I have to keep in mind at all times. Yeah.
So, I can imagine that the dramaturgy is very interesting for this, which I don't know if anyone even has an answer. I don't even know if this is a question. But I'm just like, I imagine because you have to do all the dramaturgy for like the 1920s, so you also have to do it for Shakespeare itself and like the origins of the actual show.
Most of the work was for, like a lot of our questions were for Shakespeare, and then and then it would come up where we're like, well, but this is also the 1920s, so.
So you're like, yeah. I feel that. Awesome. So, moving on, something I love to ask everyone is what is your favorite moment of the show or this rehearsal process, or favorite line, or what is like something that you've learned, something that you've like found challenging, something that you've learned for yourself like as an actor, any and all of those things.
Shout out to Katie Robinson, who is a
Oh,
UArts transfer.
Katie
Has-
was gonna be on, but we couldn't get scheduling to work.
Gosh darn it!
know, I'm
Well,
so
shout out to
upset.
Katie Robinson, who is a UArts transfer, has absolutely showed up in the room and immediately started playing and like throwing spaghetti at the walls. And I think everybody in seeing that was like, oh, well, I want to play now too.
Yeah.
So everybody started
Yeah.
like just playing, and it was really early on as well, and just had like a drive to everything. And I personally like to memorize as fast as I can, and I've realized throughout my time here, I've created a really good system for memorization. So by the first second week, I was mostly memorized for Act 1, and then coming into it, and all of us like about in the week going up to our lines due day, a lot of us started putting our books down. Like a lot of us already started putting our books down and just like, or would have it in our hands but not look at it, except for when we needed to. Which was it just created a really good drive. I've really been enjoying this ensemble. It's been really great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So excited to see it.
One of my favorite parts. Just like I love how everything ends in Act 5.
Yeah,
Just like,
I do.
like the when all the A, B, C, all the way to Z plots come together at the end, and everybody just starts like.
It's the Spider-Man. It's such an
literally.
emotional roller coaster for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Like it's insane.
It
It's
is.
crazy.
It is, and I love it so much, and I just love seeing like everything just like fall apart, build back up, fall apart again, build back up. And then we're like, oh, well, we're here.
Shakespeare
So-
cooked with that one.
Shakespeare did cook with that one.
It's wild.
But one of the things that I would say that I learned throughout this rehearsal process that Jared Delaney mentioned to me was that every line is a new thought. And that's been so helpful in memorization, like in keeping that memorization and keeping that flow in the text, because like it created for Shakespeare's like words and all his things that he says, nothing is ever like continuous. It's never like a continuous thought like throughout whatever blurb that you're saying. And so when you break it down into like individual lines, like individual thoughts, it makes it so much clearer what you're saying, and it conveys so much better to the audience of what you're trying to say and what you're trying to mean.
Yeah.
That even if they don't get the words that you're saying, 85% of the time they're going to recognize what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite is also Act 5, but specifically when Katie Robinson first enters.
It's so good.
At that point, I am playing the priest, and I have to keep a straight face.
Oh, it's the hardest in the world.
It has been so hard not to just die of laughter because Katie is so talented at
Yeah. That's when
being
you
drunk.
know that
It's
someone
amazing.
is doing the work. When you can't keep a straight face, when you have to try not to bake. Yeah.
that.
And it's getting harder and harder
It
every run.
That's an even better sign.
Well, because people are starting to just where we are right now is we have a week where we're just before our designer run where we're just running the show, and everybody's like, well, I'm gonna try something different tonight, and sometimes it's so like it's a choice, and it's like, and Damien goes, I don't know if that's. It's like, yeah, no, I know I'm not gonna actually do that, but I needed to do it once, and it's so fun. It's just so fun. I'm having so much fun
I
right
love that you
now.
guys have so much time to play.
Yeah.
Oh, honorable mention to the fight being a dance originally.
Oh my god, no.
It was so funny.
Oh my gosh. So there's a fight that Viola and Sir Andrew have to do.
Oh.
And originally it was like, okay, we're not doing swords. What if it's a dance battle or a scat battle? And we tried.
I love that.
We tried for a while. And it and then it was like, actually, scratch that. What if it's this instead? And we're like, yeah, that works. And TBH, I think it's really funny. I really love this bit. I think it's wonderful.
I'm excited.
That's the other thing I've been, sorry, not to prattle on, but the other thing I love is it's just, we're also getting to the point where Damien's like, what if we did this bit here? And it's just, we're getting to Bit City, man. It's so good. We're in Bit City. It's so
he added
good.
a really good one yesterday.
There's so many like little silly things where he's like, what if you just did this? And we're like, and I usually have to stand there and be like,
all of us do.
So, like, we try it once and I completely lose my mind and I go, okay, let's do it for real now.
That's so good. I'm so excited to see this show, you guys. I've been telling everyone and their mother to come see this show. I was like talking to my socials to like teacher earlier today. I was like, hey, there's a little show that you need to come see. And she was just like, yeah, just a little bit. Okay. And I was like, thanks. Just a little show.
Come see 12th Night.
Come see 12th
Come
Night.
see 12th Night.
Come see it.
Yeah.
We're watching.
Will they really good?
October
Better be there.
3rd through the 6th.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It is going to be here on campus in the little theater. I feel like we're coming to a natural close.
Yeah, this feels good.
Thank you guys so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
And sitting and
Zara
chatting
Peters.
with me.
Always.
Anytime,
yeah.
Zara.
That is so not a problem. You are so much fun to talk to. Please believe that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you guys. You guys should come and check out the show. As of this being uploaded, the show will be next Thursday. So you should come see the show. Good luck on tech and designer.
Thank you.
And
We'll need it.
rehearsal today.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dan, who's behind the camera.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, so per usual, there's links in the description of the video if you're watching on YouTube, and if not, in the description of the channel, or maybe in the description of the thing, whatever, on Spotify. It's been a minute. We're back for this school year.
We're so back.
We're so
back.
back. There's new things coming to Yes and, which I have not talked about, but maybe I will come up with something new. The lovely KP gave this to me. But yeah, so thank you so much. I hope you had a good time watching / listening. And yeah, come see 12th Night.
Come see
Come
12th
see it.
Night.
Thank you,
Bye.
bye.